USC's Tim Tessalone and UCLA's Marc Dellins each spent over 25 years as sports information directors at their respective schools. Now retired, the two sat down with Jill Painter Lopez at VIP's Cafe in Tarzana, Jordan Wooden's favorite local diner, to talk about their friendship and what it's like watching March Madness these days as fans.
It was a privilege. It was the only school I really ever wanted to go to. J.D. Morgan saw something in me, I'm not sure what, and hired me out of school, and I never left.
Like Marc, really the only place I really wanted to be. You know, it's funny because I see the world through cardinal and gold glasses. And I know there's a much bigger world out there, but that was my focus the whole time. Just really lucky to do that.
Having each other across town for so long, I mean, it's just so rare to have the longevity of two guys at the rival schools. What was it like watching Tim across town, knowing that you could text him, call him, and seeing what he was doing?
Tim was a great friend and a great example to follow. And you know, we would talk a lot, and we could compare notes and kind of help solve issues.
Despite this logo here on his chest, you know, this is my best friend in the business in so many ways. Sure, I wanted to beat UCLA whenever we played him, just like you wanted to beat USC whenever we played. But we were always able to put that competition aside and work really as colleagues for the betterment of both schools.
The only thing Tim never had to deal with was a public records request because he was at a private school.
That was the one advantage. Yeah, that was a big advantage.
All right, Tim, I'll start with you. Your favorite March Madness memory from an NCAA tournament game, or just?
Obviously, USC doesn't have quite the NCAA championship you know, tradition that UCLA has in
Which is
in
why
basketball.
I didn't want you to have to follow Marc.
Right, so we're hoping we could do this during football season and we could talk, but seriously.
Good time.
Yeah, many of the great moments that I remember in USC basketball history have to do with beating the Bruins, right? And what that really meant. You know, when you play your rival, that elevates, obviously, the importance of the game. And so to win those games really, I think, you know, adds to that.
The hardest thing is when you lose that NCAA game because the players are crushed, their season's over, but two of them and the head coach still have to go to the interview room. And then the locker room has to be open for 30 minutes to everybody else. You know, that's hard on those kids.
Fast forward to March Madness now for both of you guys. You're a season ticket holder. You go to a lot of basketball games. What's it like now experiencing March Madness, not having to work, but to be a fan?
It's hard to be a fan because for 43 years, you know, we don't have the cheering gene in us anymore.
All those years in the press box, you're not allowed to cheer. So I go to the basketball games and I sit in the stands and, you know, maybe a little, I mean, I'm excited, but you're trained not to show it after all those years. You don't. I think UCLA has a great chance. I think they're going to go far. You know, whether I'll actually stand up and yell and scream, you know, probably not.
Who's your favorite Trojan player on this year's team and why?
Boogie Ellis, because he's a hell of a shooter.
And I'll go with David Singleton, who went to my high school, Bishop Montgomery, and I don't think he misses three-pointers. You know, he needs to just keep shooting. And to have watched his career develop and become the player that he is this year is really cool.
Can you arm wrestle now?
Let's go, Marc. Come on.
Yeah, there you go.
Come on, Marc.
Eight clap.
How am I doing?
There.
Rivals, even in retirement. That was fun to listen to. Tim Tessalone was at USC when you were there, wasn't he?
I spent 5 years with him, and I'll tell you what I equate him to. The concierge at the Ritz-Carlton.
Oh, very nice.
Always available 24/7, extremely fair, very media-friendly, which we love about him. But I'll tell you, he's a Hall of Fame husband. He's a Hall of Fame dad. He's a Hall of Fame sports information director. But maybe most importantly, he's a Hall of Fame person.